Hey, this is the Armchair Generals, and I'm El Scacho. Today with me are Nova Star,
Hello.
Crash,
Hey,
and we're going to break down the factions of 40K today for you.
Ooh, it's gonna be a good one.
just doing a quick intro for each one, just so you guys can get used to, the idea when you're going to start the game and collecting an army.
Kind of get a little foreknowledge of what each faction represents, if not necessarily can do on the table right now. We'll leave those for some later videos.
We are going to start with the Imperial armies, though. Nova, did you want to go ahead and start us off talking about the Space Marines?
So the Space Marines are the champions of humanity. They are genetically engineered and modified human beings. They are males taken around pubescent, prepubescent age, who've usually grown up in some of the worst environments you can imagine. Usually warrior cultures, primitive cultures, barbarians. Um,
Unless you're an
and
Ultramar, and then they, volunteer.
there's some few exceptions to that, but they still keep them. Uh,
Sequestered.
they still only take the toughest of the toughest, the best, the best.
Yeah.
So these people are transformed. They are no longer humans. They are what you consider transhuman individuals. They are in power. They wear powered armor. They use the Holy Bolt Gun, which is basically a
Yes.
machine gun that fires mass reactive shells. Each one, because it's 40K, is rocket propelled because it just makes it cooler. And they fight across the stars for humanity. And they come in several different flavors, whether it be Space Wolves, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Death Watch, Ultramarines, and they all have a little bit differences in their rules. But for the most part, they play very, very. They're definitely an elite army, made more for the beginner player, but the master player can still get plenty of use out of them. Your army is going to typically be smaller than most in 40K, but each Marine in each unit is going to outperform a lot of other armies units. Hey, El Scacho, do you want to talk about Space Wolves?
Yeah, Space Wolves are some of my favorite minis in the game. Basically, take your stereotypical, Vikings and put them in space, and they sometimes accidentally go werewolf on you too. A lot of fun to be had. A lot of tribal and unique markings, and fur and facial hair.
Don't
Um,
forget the beer.
Oh yeah, and the beer. Hey, Crash, you want to take over talking about some Dark Angels there?
I would love to. Dark Angels are a more monastic knightly order, kind of like the fictionalized Knights Templar, and a little bit of the reality as well. The Dark Angels are a very somber chapter. They have a dark history that they're trying to make up for in their past, and they tend to be rather secretive with other Imperial factions. I really like the Dark Angels. They've always been a favorite army of mine. They were my first army, and I mean, the art behind me uh, signifies that a little bit. Novo, do you want to talk about what you've got up on there behind you?
I am a representative of the Blood Angel chapter. Now, it's funny, I didn't start the game with Blood Angels, but they're definitely epitomize my favorite playstyle, which is the ABCs of 40K, always be charging. So they are a chapter who are very vampiric based. They even take the aspirants from the Moon of Baal, which is a nuclear waste hellhole, and they will put them in a sarcophagus for over a year, and they literally gene grow them into the Space Marine. And they have an affinity for blood and going insane.
And they're
And yet
also very, very pretty.
they make some of the best artificers in the Imperium. Not only are they great warriors, but off the battlefield, they're like the best sculptors, best painters, because they're all trying to fight their inner flaw, um, doing something to basically preoccupy them, take their mind elsewhere.
Well, I think we've covered Space Marines fairly well. El Scaccio, did you want to carry on into the Astra Militarum?
Oh, it
Yes,
doesn't show
the
up.
Astra Militarum, or as we all still refer to them usually as the Imperial Guard, are one of my more favorite armies. I have played them for a very long time. Um, they are they come from the width and breadth of humanity. They are your everyman within the 40K universe. Um, your individual guardsman might be like any one of us, and he's given a rifle and maybe some basic training, and said, "Go fight that alien," or
With
"Go
an
fight that."
average lifespan of 15 minutes.
It depends on the war zone, but yes, there's actually a book called Every 15 Seconds or something like that about how they don't live very long. But they get a rifle and a little bit of training and pointed towards the bad guys and said, "Go get them, boys." And if you don't, then a commissar will shoot you and make the rest of your friends go get them.
I mean, given the threats that the Imperium faces, I can't imagine a normal human would last all that long.
No.
No, I read that book that El Scotcho was talking about, and the guardsmen who are in that situation aren't even supposed to be there. One of the Adeptus administrators put like a 1 instead of a 0, so they sent them to the wrong battlefield.
Oh,
They're like brand new recruits who are supposed to go to this easy job, and they go to like one of the worst fights against orcs.
that's 15 hours, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't that
15
the
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have it. I've never read it. I probably should give it a read.
It's really good.
So kind of give you more of a background on them. They technically, almost every planet in the Imperium is supposed to provide at least a regiment to the guard. There's a few exceptions in there that we can cover in later videos, but Imperial Guard really play as one of 3 kind of general subtypes. You're either going to have a horde of dudes, you're going to have a lot of vehicles, or you're going to have a mix of vehicles and dudes on the board trying to blow stuff up. And it's a lot of models to build and paint.
They do also have a little bit more of an elite force that they can do as well in the stormtroopers, the Tempesta Scions.
Yeah.
They're a little more airborne, a little more elitist, but it does still lend towards higher numbers of guys and mechanized units.
Yeah, they're more of your surgical strike within the overall bludgeon of the Imperial Guard. They're going to be, the guys you drop in in a aircraft to take out that enemy leader or something like that, or at least that's how they're supposed to play. We'll see how it comes out when 9th edition keeps on rolling.
I was using the Suicide Squads. They'd come down with some lava gun, melt-a-guns, and be like, "Do your job for the Emperor, boys. You get one shot at this."
Yeah. Well, now you'd be able to charge at least too. So, have a hope of doing something else too.
Always be charging?
Always be charging.
Always be charging.
Where does that come from?
That comes from one of my favorite podcasts, Forge the Narrative. One of their co-hosts, sometimes Ricky Addington, would always be saying that. Give credit where it's due. That's where I get that from. You
should charge rather than being charged.
Oh, yeah.
Deny your opponent every advantage you can.
Oh, agreed.
Okay, well, next up, we do have the Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, the Adeptus Mechanicus are the industrial backbone of the Imperium. They are the ones that maintain the Imperium's technology. They are the ones that build almost everything, from prefabricated buildings to weapons to ammunition to cybernetic parts. I mean, they build anything that's machine oriented. The Adeptus Mechanicum does not share their secrets with the rest of the Imperium. Most people in the Imperium have no idea how their toaster works. They believe that there is a machine spirit in the toaster, and if the toaster's not working, they take it to a tech priest of the Adeptus Mechanicum, and they pray over it, appease the machine spirit, and then hopefully it works.
I think the only exception to that is the Tech Marines or the Space Marines, but even when they come back, they're very secretive, and they don't just tell everybody about this stuff. They're like, "Nope, sorry, can't tell you."
Well, if they did, I would imagine Mars would not continue to train them.
Nope.
But now the Adeptus Mechanicus on the table, they they have a little bit of everything. They have decent mechanized units. They have decent assault units. You can play them as a little bit more of an elite force, or you could do a little bit more of a swarm with multiple small squads. They are definitely a different army from the rest of the Imperial armies.
Even background and politically, they're almost an empire within an empire because they're not technically part of the Imperium. They're actually a sister empire that just has ancient treaties, but to keep everything easy, they're just considered Imperium.
And they don't worship the Emperor as the rest of the Imperium does. The rest of the
No.
Imperium worships the Emperor as a god, or at least they say they do. The Mechanicum expressly does not. They worship the Omnissiah.
The spirit in the machine.
Which
These are the guys, I think you said it, they'll literally anoint a toaster with unguents and oils and put smoke out and pray to it and like, this is how you activate it.
And I mean, of any army in the 40K universe, they are very 40K.
Yeah.
Very Warhammer.
They're super grimdark.
They're very grimdark. And they're ridiculous at the same time. I mean, quite literally, if you were found trying to fix your toaster, you might very well end up dead. You don't fix your own toaster. The tech
they'll turn you into a servitor robot. Be like, look at Billy over there. Now he's a gun servitor. You can go serve the Imperium.
Yep. And actually, kind of another favorite of mine. I'm actually hoping to start a Crusade army here in 9th edition with the Adeptus Mechanicus.
And it's funny, from one Forge World, you'll have super high-tech weaponry, and then another one will have like the most ornate wooden musket rifles. But they'll be both just as deadly because the musket rifle is shooting like bolts of electricity.
I believe that's what you were looking to lean into, wasn't it, El Scaccio?
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be, or I'm going to continue with that particular flavor. I was actually looking at theming my army as American Revolutionary War. So because the coats are kind of similar to the frock coats that our ancestors wore back then.
That's an interesting take, and I mean, and that lends into the versatility of the game a little bit too.
And we'll discuss more in our next video. Tune in. Make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe for us. And thanks for watching the Armchair Generals.
Thank you.
Have a good one.